From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I'm Mike Dennison at the Capitol. Coming up, we look at some possible boundaries for Montana's 2 new congressional districts.
184 memorial benches for the victims of the attack on the Pentagon on 9/11. Countless other lives impacted. I'm Natalie Brand with the story of a service member who was at the Pentagon that day as a child.
6:30 on this Tuesday. Chet Lehman, Matt Elwell with you here. That story from the Pentagon is a really moving story. She was at the daycare center at the Pentagon.
Wow.
During the attack, just a little kid.
Just 20 short years ago.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Hey, looking at our temperatures, pretty comfortable. It's nice that we can actually see the horizon in most of the area. Our air quality is improving for now. It may not be the case by the afternoon. 39 degrees in Butte, 43 in Belgrade, 30 this morning in West Yellowstone. Bozeman planner for today. Again, we can see the horizon. It's a beautiful sunrise. Low 80s today, light wind, but I do expect the smoke to be picking up again over the course of the next couple of days. Along with that, warmer temperatures as well. We're going to talk more about the potential for breaking some records or tying records or coming close to records. That's all coming up in just a little bit.
That's all going to be an impact on our top story this half hour, Matt. The wildfires near Wise River and Wisdom continue to burn, or creating plenty of smoke over southwest Montana. Fire officials report the Alder Creek and Christensen have merged into one wildfire for a total of more than 28,000 acres. These fires have been burning just west of Wise River since July. They're only about 22% contained. Now, at the beginning of this month, a new wildfire called the Sand Lake Fire flared up. That's about 11 miles northeast of Wisdom. It's burning in a remote area. It's listed now at 100 acres. Trail Creek Fire burning west of Wisdom is now more than 42,000 acres, and it is 58% contained. Well, as the Northern Rockies fire season winds down, California's rage is on. Attention is once more turning to a legislative solution to wildfire. MTN's Dennis Bragg takes a closer look at the proposals being floated by U.S. Senator Steve Daines.
Whether it's logging projects to thin the forest or other measures like prescribed burns, Senator Daines continues to press for what he calls sound forest management.
The Forest Service has been clear, and they've stated we need to increase the treatment acreages by 2 to 5 times versus where we're at today. The Biden administration actually moved to decrease our timber harvest targets in Region 1.
Daines currently has 3 bills in the Senate. The Firesheds Act would allow governors to enter joint agreements with land management agencies, designating lands of high fire risk as fireshed management areas and protect fuel reduction projects from lawsuits. Another bill seeks to fix the Ninth Circuit Court's controversial Cottonwood decision, a years-long case started over Canada lynx habitat, used as a basis for 24 lawsuits and threats of many more to stop forest projects.
The legislation I have put forward is exactly what the Obama administration wanted to fix back when President Obama was in office. We need to do that. I've been involved in this issue for a lot of years. Until we stop the frivolous litigation, we're never going to get to where we need to be here in terms of treatment of our national forest.
Finally, the Protect Collaboration for Healthier Forest Act would establish a pilot arbitration program to protect collaborative forest projects.
Many of you have been involved in these collaborations that we work together, bringing stakeholders to approve a timber project only to be litigated against by just 1 or 2 groups. In fact, in Region 1, there are 14 projects held up in court as we speak here today.
And Daines continues to maintain those lawsuits are blocking better management of national forest lands and stopping fires. He notes in Montana there's some 230 million board feet of timber in limbo now because of legal actions.
Last year, a more comprehensive bill, co-sponsored with California Senator Dianne Feinstein, didn't make it through a turbulent Congress. But the West continues to burn, driven by record temperatures and drought. Daines tells me the key is getting lawmakers from other states here to see forest management firsthand. However, he says fire smoke clouding Washington skies is getting attention too.
Yeah, well, it's pretty humbling. You look at the satellite imagery and you see these huge wildfires where that smoke literally now is coast to coast. And we need to bring them out, see what's happening in the front lines, and also to see what a managed forest looks like. When you go in and thin the forest, you see the improvement of wildlife habitat, protecting watersheds, providing jobs for loggers and sawmills. A lot of good things happen when you manage your forest, and most importantly, you reduce wildfire risk.
In Missoula, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
Now tomorrow, Dennis will give us an in-depth look at the forest management proposals Governor Greg Gianforte is calling for on state forest lands. Well, in the next 2 weeks, Montanans will be submitting proposed maps for our state's 2 new congressional districts for the 2022, the first step towards a 5-member commission drawing the actual boundaries by November. But MTN chief political reporter Mike Dennison has been doing some map drafting of his own, looking at possible proposals that could come before the commission. Today, he gives us a sneak preview of these plans and what some of the redistricting commissioners think of those ideas.
Most district drawers are looking at an eastern and western district, somewhat similar to what we had 30 years ago before we lost a district and became a single statewide district. But if you draw a dividing line similar to the prior old 2 districts stretching from Glacier County in the north down to Yellowstone Park, that western district will have almost 616,000 people, which is 74,000 too many, because the 2 districts must be roughly equal in population. So, how to fix that? One possibility is putting most of Helena and Lewis and Clark County into the Eastern District, making things almost even population-wise. Or you could split off parts of Bozeman, or put all of Gallatin County into the Eastern District, and then most of Great Falls into the Western District. But Districting and Apportionment Commissioner Joe Lamson, a Democrat, says these proposals create 2 Republican-leaning districts, and that he wants to create 1 district that is competitive between the 2 major political parties.
We heard loud and strong for Montanans that when it came to the congressional districts, they would like one of those districts to be competitive.
Republican Commissioner Dan Stusik says making 1 district politically competitive is discretionary and should not be a top priority.
That is not one of the Commission's mandatory criteria, nor is it in our Montana Constitution or state law. And in fact, the concept of competitiveness inherently requires you to look at political data, which, as the public well knows, is what people use to gerrymander districts.
A proposal Democrats are eyeing is making Flathead County and Kalispell part of the Eastern District. You're left with a southwestern Montana seat, which would include Missoula, Butte, Hamilton, and Bozeman. To even up the population between the 2 districts, though, you'd have to add Jefferson, Broadwater, Park, Sweetgrass, and Stillwater counties to the Western District. Or if you want to put Flathead, Lincoln, and Sanders counties into this so-called Eastern District, you add Great Falls and Cascade County to the Southwestern District and drop the Jefferson to Sweetgrass link. In both of these plans, the Southwestern District is almost evenly split among Democratic and Republican-leaning voters.
We tend to favor districts that keep Gallatin, Helena, Missoula, Butte, Silver Bow, sort of that area that has a lot of common interests. I assure you, this is not going to be a deep, dark blue district. It's going to be a competitive district. It means it's going to be 50-50, and then the voters will decide whether they want to, which candidate they want to have represent them in Congress.
Stusik, however, says he doubts that's something that he or voters in northwestern Montana would support.
I think that would sacrifice elements of compactness and would inherently be a kind of gerrymandering and much different from what Montana has historically seen in our congressional districts to reach a political goal.
And there's another possibility that may or may not be considered, creating a South and North Montana district. A North district could include Kalispell, Missoula, Great Falls, and Helena, while the Southern district could stretch from Hamilton all the way to Sidney and include Billings and Bozeman. Politically speaking, these 2 are decidedly Republican-leaning districts. The 5-member commission will pick several finalist plans on October 5th to consider, and after public hearings, make its decision just 25 days later. It may come down to a tie-breaking vote by the commission's nonpartisan chairwoman. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Definitely a story we're going to continue to follow here. Meantime, 6:38 on September 11th, 2001, terrorists hijacked American Airlines Flight 77, then flew it into the heart of America's military, the Pentagon. 20 years later, a couple of the survivors of that attack are carrying on the legacy of their fallen soldiers, sailors, and airmen and Marines killed in that attack. CBS's Natalie Brand has the story this morning from the Pentagon.
You had basically every type of emergency vehicle and the sirens from that, and then on top of that, just a really acrid smell from the burning jet fuel. And to be honest, most of my memories are a little bit fragmented because I was only 3 years old at the time.
Second Lieutenant Hannah Bourne's memories of September 11, 2001 may be fragmented, but the impact lasting. She and her infant sister Heather were inside the Pentagon Daycare Center at the time of the attack.
Service members showed up at the door and started loading infants into cribs and then just carried the cribs like half a mile to the river.
Her mother, now retired Brigadier General Dana Bourne, was serving at Bolling Air Force Base at the time.
You know, our world changed. And it took us a while to realize that, I think, after 9/11, that there's no going back, right? That things have changed.
Also changed the lives of those who served and those left with the trauma of that day. As a child, Hannah drew pictures of what she experienced following the attack and instinctively comforted her sister when her dad brought her to a spot near the Pentagon to try and explain what happened.
Her younger sister, who at 4 months old really was just dealing with, you know, sadness, who knows where that came from, but she was comforting.
Both daughters now committed to military service themselves. Lieutenant Bourne with the Air Force, Midshipman Heather Bourne currently at the Naval Academy.
The biggest takeaways that my sister and I have had have just been from witnessing firsthand how people show up every day and commit themselves to a larger purpose and do what the nation asks of them, but also do so much more.
Lieutenant Bourne, who is completing a graduate program at Georgetown University this year, hopes to one day fly rescue missions.
What is it about rescue missions?
I don't know, there's probably something innate there about just the gratitude that my sister and I and my family have for the service members who had the awareness to come help rescue us during 9/11 and maybe wanting to give back in a more direct way.
Lieutenant Bourne says every 9/11, she and her sister reflect on what they can do to honor the legacy of the lives lost and the sacrifices made over the past 20 years. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Arlington, Virginia.
Now, military leaders citing that the Pentagon is one of the most targeted terrorist sites in the world shut down the Pentagon's daycare center following those 9/11 attacks. Time for a quick break here on Montana This Morning. When we come back, Fashion Week returning to New York City, but thanks to the COVID variant, there's some big changes. What it all looks like coming up. But first, a new look for our friends at CBS This Morning.
Something new is happening at CBS. Go somewhere new. Learn something new. Meet someone new. Nate Burleson joins Gail King and Tony DeCopel.
Welcome to CBS Mornings.
CBS Mornings on CBS.